In Hades 2, the weapon aspects are the most defining components of your loadout and shape how you approach combat and deal with all the chaos of the night. Each weapon has 3 standard aspects and 1 hidden one, all offering unique strengths, movesets, buffs, and potential boon synergies to explore. Some base effects can feel powerful from the get-go, and some require more investment and finesse to unlock their potential. So in this tier list video, we'll be breaking down every weapon aspect and ranking them based on their overall power level, build versatility, and effectiveness. And remember, you can also create your own tier list on our website for weapon aspects too, as well as boons, arcana cards, keepsakes, and more. So whether you're drawn to slow and heavy hits, rapid firing, machine gun-like attacks, patience and planning, or an all-out brawl, this guide should help you find the perfect setup for your next run. Now let's start with the S tier first, and these weapon aspects are defined by their incredible versatility and game-changing base effects. These form the core of the most dominant builds, consistently excelling in every scenario, from a first-time victory to high fear and speedruns. Throughout the entire life of Hades 2 so far, aspect of Medea's skull has dominated the online leaderboards, and everyone's in record keepers list. Even considering the bug fix in V1.0 where the damage boost no longer buffs cast damage, it's still easily the best aspect in the game. A Medea run holds the current speedrun world record and was the world first unseeded 67 fear run victory. When fully ranked up, Mel starts with a 90% damage boost to attacks and spells, and Medea's skull attacks also have an increased explosion size compared to Mel's skull. You basically can't have a bad build when using Medea's skulls, though most players opt for Heaven Flourish as their starting boon. Proper use will make you feel like you're moving at light speed with unlimited dashes because of the combined movement of dash and special. The one caveat of placing Medea at the number 1 spot is that it is one of the more dangerous aspects to wield, as you have to special directly into your target, and specials have no invulnerability frames. However, once the movement and special timing is mastered, Medea's skull is hands down the strongest weapon aspect in the game. You can check out the build our Hades expert Hooky Ducky used to clear 62 fear with Medea in the description. And whilst we're on the topic, you can also submit your own builds on our build planner page. So check it out and take a look at all the community builds we have there so far. Next up, we have the aspect of Circe's staff, and when using this, you want to build around a high damage cast. Storm Ring or Smolder Ring are both great choices because getting an enemy in a double cast deals rapid damage. The attack patterns and movement of Tula and Raki make them the most consistent choices for maximizing the benefits of the Psychic Leash and the second cast. Honestly, the double cast and leash are so strong that you could reasonably clear a run and barely use attack or special. Speaking of the Witch's Staff, Mel's staff has great versatility. You can build around Omega moves or standard strike combos, and even though it is the game's starter weapon, that doesn't mean it can't be one of the best options. You have nearly endless build options, as the staff will perform well with just about every decent boon combination. The meta tends to revolve around Heaven Strike on attack and any damage percentage boon on special like Swan Flourish or Flutter Flourish. Moving down to the A tier next then, and these aspects are considered extremely powerful but do have their limitations compared to the top meta weapons. Their peak power levels are similar, but they possess less build flexibility. Then we have the aspect of Morose Flames, and the main combo for this one is to activate an Omega special, then spam attacks to trigger the explosions. The blasts are powerful and pair well with any of the percentage based boons. Throw a Clean Coil Hammer upgrade on it and you're on for an easy run. The only thing limiting Morose is the high magic requirements and the time it takes to be constantly channeling. Aspect of Anubis' staff is the best hidden aspect in Hades 2, as the alternate moveset is completely busted with the right build. As long as you start with Heaven Strike or Flame Strike, you can't really go wrong from there. Mel can place the attack's damaging field, then use special to pull enemies into it, and this combo works with both standard and Omega moves. Once the enemies are inside the field, you can then focus on movement and dodging until you then need to repeat the process. This low maintenance playstyle makes this one of the easier aspects to achieve a victory once you get the hang of its unique mechanics. The aspect of Charon Axe is the best Omega cast weapon out of all aspects. For the price of one Omega special, you'll also get an Omega cast with increased AoE. The most common strategy is to build around Apollo as your primary god. Lucid Gain is essentially infinite magic because with the axe aspect you are instantly exploding your cast. Single target damage is huge, the AoE is massive, and other than channeling time, this aspect is one of the safer ones to use. The aspect of the Morrigan, Limb and Oros or Morrigan Blades has a few really strong builds. The multi-hit attack can be paired with an on-hit boon like Flame Strike or utilise the increased AoE power of Nova Strike. Regardless of the builds, Morrigan Blades has access to Blood Triad, so you always have the potential to deal some high burst damage. Against most standard enemies, spamming attacks with a few specials thrown in will be more than sufficient. When facing Guardians though, you'll need to learn how to optimize Blood Triad combos. The aspect of Nergal Axe at rank 1 might feel a bit underwhelming, with the horrendously slow attack speed taking forever to land 21 strikes to become Berserk. However, once you've ranked it up a few levels, the healing during Berserk makes it a very forgiving weapon to use. Focus on using the Omega attack to stack up strikes and you will quickly understand why this hidden aspect ranks so highly. Then we have the Black Coat aspect of Nyx, which produces a Night Spawn that splits your attacks and specials in two. Based on this mechanic, Wave Strike and Flame Strike are the go-to choices when wearing it. For room clear speed, nothing really does it better than Nyx with Shimmering Rockets, as the Night Spawn split rockets combined with the bouncing special rockets make every standard encounter feel like a bit of a free pass. With a bit of extra damage from the Omega boost plus the splitting Night Spawn for easy room clearing, Nyx is a great weapon. The Night Spawn mechanic does feel a bit limited during Guardian encounters though, as it doesn't really help in 1v1 scenarios. Thanatos' axe, or Thanax, has two main issues. First off, you desperately want Psychic Whirlwind or at least Furious Whirlwind to improve your Omega attacks. And secondly, this aspect is only going to work well for you if you're really good at not taking damage. Mortality and its crit damage chance resets every time you get hit with even the tiniest amount of damage, and if you played early access, try out Thanax again because it has been heavily buffed since then. Into the B tier next then, and these mid tier aspects may be good, but they never really feel overpowered. These excel in their niches, but getting the right build going can be a bit more challenging. Aspect of Eos Flames is a very fun weapon to use, as the Daybreaker mimics your special usage and the ability feels unique yet powerful. Immediately after shooting out the Daybreaker Omega attack, use one Omega special, then spam standard specials until the Daybreaker expires. The inability to control Daybreaker's movement though does mean there will be some occasions during the run where it is missing attacks. Shiva's Coat has the highest single hit damage potential in the game, and all it needs is Flutter Strike or Nova Strike paired with a Curse Boon on the special. Once you get the hang of absorbing Omega specials to ramp up the Omega attacks, the combat loop is both simple and satisfying. Be careful though not to get caught from the back whilst channeling, because Mel only blocks forward attacks. Suppe's Flames lists Rush Boon damage as its primary effect, but don't be fooled into tunnel visioning on the Rush Boon, because investing in the Omega attack and special will bring you just as much success as the Rush Boon. Both moves deal low damage, so the best builds focus on hit effects like Scorch, Blitz and Splash. This weapon aspect burns through magic like it's nobody's business though, so you might struggle early into the run to clear encounters. Speaking of the Umbral Flames, Mel's Flames grants critical hit chance on both attacks and specials. This makes it work decently well with any damage percentage boosting boons. We'd recommend starting with Sworn Flourish or Flutter Flourish for hitch or max damage percentage boosts. Many common builds, however, actually ignore its base effect and instead utilize the speed of its specials to rack up Scorch damage with Flame Flourish. The aspect of Moma's staff barely feels usable until you upgrade it all the way. The delay between Omega bursts is a bit too long to get consistent use out of the third pulse against many enemies. Let's say you have it at rank 2 and the delay is 3.5 seconds. How often will an enemy exist in the same spot for 10.5 seconds straight? At max rank, however, it does become a safer and stronger aspect as long as you can manage your Omega channeling cycles. The bursts start to play the game for you and frees you up so you can focus on dodging. The biggest struggle for this one is the reliance on Omega moves. You need a high amount of max magic and a strong gain boot. You also can't dash whilst channeling Omegas, so you'll be resetting the channel circle often. The Mel Coat aspect attacks feel limited to Wave Strike and Flame Strike builds, and Exhaust Riser paired with either one of these makes it feel pretty good. You will need to get Poseidon's legendary boon on top of the already extreme luck of getting the right hammer if you're going for the splash route, or grab Hestia's tier 2 boons such as Pyrotechnique. The other viable build for this one is to focus on the specials and targeting Shimmering Rockets. This version is much better in standard encounters and is generally safer to play as you can play from range. Special boons also have more flexibility, but Sworn Flourish is a popular choice. Moving down to the C tier next, and these aspects can simply just be understood as weaker versions of another aspect. Their base effects lack power on their own, so you typically won't have a great build until later into your run. Mel's Axe is one of the most difficult weapons in the game to use due to its extremely painful slow attack speed. Starting out with extra health and attack power does balance out the slow speed though, and if you watch your spacing you can safely clear rooms with a few wide swings. If you don't get Dashing Heave, Guardian encounters at Valve Frenzy 2 though can be pretty challenging to survive. Mel's blades need many of the right boons to achieve the damage that the higher ranked aspects achieve just far easier. There are a few good options for builds, but a popular choice is grabbing Heaven Flourish along with any other curse on attack, like Scorch or Hitch for example, and then playing around blitz damage. The aspect of Persephone's Skull Sprouted effect is pretty cool, but most players actually use it for the bonus boon levels. This makes it a popular choice with Hephaestus builds because his attack and special heavily rely on rarity and boon level. Aspect of Hell's Skull basically has two good builds, but both require a ton of investment with non-core and tier 2 boons. You can either go for a splash build or a Scorch build. While unloading attacks during Valkyrie, you are completely movement locked, making this both a dangerous and challenging aspect to use effectively. The DPS ceiling is very high though, so if you do master the mechanics, it can absolutely melt through Guardians. The best build for the aspect of Pan's Blades doesn't even use its Omega specials. Instead, it spams dash strikes after acquiring Trick Knives. The recovery animation of the Omega specials just takes forever, so it's very dangerous to use them against enemies with fast attacks or movement. Once you do throw on Vow of Frenzy, Pan can just simply feel miserable, as oftentimes you'll end up playing it as a worst Mel Blades. Mel's Skull is great for players who enjoy using long-ranged abilities and playing far away from their enemies. You'll spend most of your time positioned outside enemies' attack range, which makes this one an easier weapon aspect to earn a slow and steady victory with. Wide Grin is the one hammer you need to maximize Mel's Skull's potential, so take it whenever you see the opportunity and spam those quad Omega attacks. Looming Ignition is the best hammer for actually utilizing the aspect's effect, as the bonus power scales up with the bonus damage percentage. If you play with aspect of Artemis's blades for a few runs, you'll probably be asking yourself, why aren't I using a different one? The parry is just too slow to be reliably used reactively. That being said, the parry mechanic can be a godsend to save yourself when you're in a tight situation that you can't dodge out of. The chance to deal critical damage for a few strikes doesn't mean a whole lot when the blade's attack and special post some of the lowest damage per hit. So overall, this aspect deals low damage, has tiny range, and performs worse than most other weapons. Then finally we have the one aspect left in the D tier, and after the changes in the last patch have helped some of the other struggling weapons recently, now the one and only weapon in the D tier is the aspect of Celine's Black Coat. This is the only aspect that comes preloaded with a hex, and it feels lackluster. While Skyfall is a good hex, starting with one only saves you a single reward or door. Playing aspect of Celine basically just feels like you're playing a weaker version of Melkote. Put on any other hex on Zinth and it's like playing Celine's coat, but at least you get plus 20% move and strike speed. The other problem with Celine's coat is that if you want to maximize Skyfall, you have to have a core boon from Ares, who's one of the weaker gods in the game, which further justifies this low placement. Thanks to our Hades expert Hooky Dookie for putting this awesome guide together, and don't forget to check out him and the other creators featured in this video for letting us have access to all their fantastic footage. You can find links to all their channels in the description, and also find the link to the full tier list on our website. Thanks for watching guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.